So we had Lewandowski missing penalties, Dani Olmo ghosting, and Szczesny spectating. So how exactly did you think that was going to end? I'll tell you what this match was is exactly what the match versus Rayo would have been like if Joan Garcia had not been on the pitch. Because guess what? Barcelona did basically nothing for the entirety of the first half. But then, you had one moment of inspiration, Pedri with a brilliant pass, Marcus Rashford with a very sharp finish, and Barcelona ended up looking like they were back in the game. But like I said, looking like they were back in the game. And look, some people might even argue that Barcelona maybe could have deserved to come out with more from that game because, they did have a lot of chances, right? Ronny Bardaj in particular had two wonderful chances, both of which he was not able to beat Vlachodimos. And of course, Lewandowski, like I said earlier, missing a penalty. And you do step back and wonder exactly what might need to change, but then you remember that, like I said before, Dani Olmo played for the entirety of this match. Oh, by the way, did I mention Ronald Araujo giving away dumb penalties? Yeah, it was really just a all-round bad performance from Barcelona. This time around, to Flick's credit, the substitutions did actually work. They did help Barcelona get a leg up in the game. But of course, like I said, once those chances fell to our forwards, they were just not taken. I mean, I don't know what's gone on with Robert Lewandowski over the past couple of weeks. I mean, he was good against Oviedo, but we came to Sociedad. I mean, sure, he scored the winning goal in that one, but he was far from looking good in that game. And then, of course, PSG. And now this one, he just basically might as well not have been there. And you just keep wondering again, what has to change? Honestly, at this point, I'm convinced that if Joan Garcia does not come back and doesn't stay fit for the rest of this season, Barca can just forget about competing for any titles because you're not going to win any matches that matter playing the way you did today, okay? You're not beating Atleti playing like that. You are definitely not beating Real Madrid this month and playing like that. In fact, the fact that Joan Garcia isn't going to be part of a Clásico, just start preparing yourselves. We might be on the end of a hiding from Real Madrid because guess what? I would have probably said, hey, you know what? We can outscore Real Madrid. But look at the way our forwards are playing at the moment. That's not going to happen. We're not outscoring anybody. And of course, Real Madrid do have the, giant tree of a human called Courtois in goals, who is, I don't know if you know, but actually a better goalkeeper than the one who stopped us from scoring in the second half today. So, honestly, it's pretty easy, I guess, to just overreact and to just go, blow your head top off and just, go and just say so many things. But at the end of the day, I guess, let's not pretend like this has come as a surprise. I mean, last season, Barcelona did go on that terrible run of fixtures. But at least back then, you were seeing more effort than you were seeing the past two matches. Okay? The past two matches, the second half against PSG, the first half here against Sevilla, all of those have been very, very bad displays. We have played some very, very terrible football. Relegation teams kind of football. That's how bad it's been. So that has to be addressed. Now, I don't know what Flick is going to have to do during this international break. Thank goodness there's an international break. Hopefully this time nobody gets injured. Hopefully maybe we can get back players like Rafinha who will make a very big difference. Because, maybe then Dani Olmo will sit on the bench. Because honestly speaking, I don't know why at this point Flick isn't even just taking a punt on a kid like Tony Fernandez. Because for me, right now, he's going to come in with more hunger than what we've seen from Dani Olmo. He'll try and do more. I mean, just look at the substitutions again Barcelona made, right? Before they considered that third goal, they nearly scored through Ronny Bardaj. And again, he was a second half substitute. He was the busiest second half substitute Barcelona had probably, and he was at the heart of a lot of good moves from Barca. Just couldn't put the finishing touch on them. Of course, we can't blame him too much for that. At the end of the day, still just an 18-year-old kid finding his way through this team. But that isn't something you can say for somebody like Dani Olmo, who, in my opinion, bruh, you just really need to sort your head out right now and figure yourself out, or just, it took a lot last season to make me drop the complaints about how much Barca paid for Dani Olmo, because I felt Barca shouldn't have bought Dani Olmo. They should have just trusted Fermin. And this season, Dani Olmo's kind of brought back that conversation. Barca should just trust Fermin, because as soon as Fermin is fit, honestly, I want to see Olmo's butt on the bench and maybe just coming on as an impact sub. And we're talking about a 60 million euro signing. That's not good enough. So, I don't know what needs to happen. Maybe Barca should have signed Alex Baena instead of him. I don't know, but, he has to figure something out. So does Hansi Flick, and I guess so do I for the time being, because I need to just figure out what kind of content I need to put out during this international break. I'm just going for now, because this team has done a lot of good things over the past 12 months. I'm going to put this one aside and say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to freak out right now, even though I want to, because I've seen the vision without Joan Garcia of just shots going past our goalkeeper like he's not there. Honestly, that third goal, I don't know how Szczesny was beaten from that angle. I don't understand it, but like I said, we'll figure out what else we can talk about during this international break. It's going to be a long one because, of course, we have these 6-2 aggregate defeats that we're going to have to stew, in our minds. So we'll try and take our minds off of the negatives. We'll see what we can do. But aside from that, do let me know your thoughts on what you saw, like what criticisms do you have, all of that stuff. Let's hear it. But aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. To have a great day, and Forza Barca.